Welcome to the Fantasy Thinker. I'm Jared, and it's time once again for the monthly reading update. This is for November 2025. So, this is going to be going over everything I read in October, which was quite a bit. Um, I'm going to start this month. I start with everything I finished for novels, but I'm going to start this month with short stories, and there's a reason for that. But uh, just to start out with, I read Daughter of Regals, the first story. It's a novella in the first story in the Daughter of Regals and Other Tales by Stephen R. Donaldson. This is was his first short story collection way back in 1984, and I read this along with my friends Vasha and Chris and Jake and Alex. Um, and I'll put a link to all the channels below. But we had a great time discussing this on my channel, my short fiction side hustle. So, The Daughter of Regals, a fantastic Stephen R. Donaldson fantasy tale. So I read that. I also read another selection out of Chinese myths and folk tales, and this one was called "The Magnanimous Girl," and it was about a young man who's taking care of his older mother, and they're getting by, their poor family, and they notice across the street that there's a he notices a beautiful woman across the street, and his mother inquires to her status, wants to see her son get married, and of course the neighbor is also taking care of her mother, and so um, some things are divvied back and forth. Another guy gets involved, and it turns out he um, was trying to steal her away from the neighbor, and that he then eventually turns into a fox and gets shot out of the sky. Another Chinese folk tale that people turn into foxes. Okay. So interesting little tale there. I also read a couple more short stories from the Big Book of Science Fiction for the podcast Speculations. So check those out. I also finished another short story from Shaper of Worlds, Volume 5. This one was called Mad Dog by Evan Graham. And it starts off with it's a science fiction tale, and it's like this mercenary company, and they go into this job that uh, they're taking on, where supposedly AI has taken over a place, but then it turns out that it wasn't AI; it was just some sneaky bandits, uh, you know, kind of passing themselves off as AI, and so gunfights ensues, pew pew, a bunch of laser battles and stuff like that. So the main character barely survives, and so it was an okay story. It's kind of straightforward, um, but still fun nonetheless. And that was from Shapers of Worlds, Volume 5. So what else did I finish as far as short stories go? I think that's everything except for um, this book here, Tale Before Tolkien. I read the short tale, A Christmas Play, and it was actually in the form of a play. This story from this book here, and it was about it was very similar to a Shakespeare thing where you have the fey creatures, and so Titania, the queen of the fairy, was involved in this story, and this story was interesting. It was written by Lindsay, David Lindsay, and he he published a big novel called A Voyage to Acturnus in 1920 that both Tolkien and C.S. Lewis read, and were we're very thrilled about. They really loved it, and so they that was, this guy was an influence on Tolkien because of his novel writing, but then this story, A Christmas Play, was never published, and I don't know, I don't remember exactly what. Oh, it happens on Christmas Eve. That's why it's called that. But it's mostly about the Queen Titania pulling a fast one on a couple of her followers, and just kind of testing their loyalty. So that's what the play was about. But it was interesting because this is actually the first publication of this play. It was never published before, and so the editor here, Douglas Anderson, found it and published it in here. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I am finished with Tales Before Tolkien. I'm all done with this book. I've read all the stories in there, and so next month I will be moving on from that collection of short stories and looking into other collections. I think I have a couple of Isaac Asimov magazines that I might look into for short stories, and so we'll see how that goes. So now, what have I finished in October besides Tales Before Tolkien? I also finished Perils of the Past by Kane Williams. This was a self-published novel that Mr. Williams sent me an arc for, and I read that. Really liked the ending. I thought it ended strong, and it was in my recent reviews, so check that out as well. I did a bunch of reviews lately, so some of these are going to be in that. So I finished that, and I also finished A Desolation Called Peace by Arkady Martine. This was an absolute fantastic space opera, second book of the duology, the sequel to A Memory Called Empire, Hugo Award winning. And yeah, fantastic read. We read this on Speculations. So if you ever read this, check those discussions out because they were a load of fun, and we enjoyed this book immensely. I also finished Ubik by Philip K. Dick. This wild sci-fi kind of sort of time travel trippy story. Exactly what you expect from PKD, but also expect the unexpected. So yeah, this ended up being fun at the end of it. The first half took a little while to get going, but then the second half just flew by, and it was extreme amount of fun reading Ubik. So for Halloween, the podcast Speculations read Rose House by Arkady Martine, her most recent writing venture. This is it's a novella length story that takes place in a haunted AI house. So that was appropriate for the season, and it was a lot of fun. It was a very interesting novella. We liked it, and so check it out if you get a chance. It reads really quick, and it's really good. All right. What else did we finish? Yes. This was a reread for me, my third time. Watchmen by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons. This is wow. There is a reason why this is considered the greatest graphic novel ever. It is just amazing. The craftsmanship that goes into this book is incredible. The draftsmanship, the drafting of the story, the drafting of the artwork, and the use of panels in this story is incredible. I was invited on a podcast, Books Undone, to speak about this. So that's been recorded. It's not out yet. Probably not till next month. But I was so glad I went and reread this again because you get so much out of it. It's a masterpiece graphic novel. No doubt about it. All right. I also finished The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle by Haruki Murakami. Yeah, this was something else. It took me a long time. It took me 2 months to get through this, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. This is a really good book. There were parts of it that I didn't enjoy, but this was I detailed that on my review recently. And so check that out when you get a chance. But the Wind Up Bird Chronicle is it's supposed to be literary fiction, but there's a lot of magical realism going on in here. So really, really cool, outstanding book. All right. Woo. That is everything I finished in October. That was a lot of stuff. Um, so what am I reading right now? I am reading Carpentry in the Elven Forest by Alex French, friend of Page Chewing, and this is my next self-published independent read. And I'm having a blast with this book so far, about halfway through. And he's a funny guy, Alex French. He's the humor in here is good. This falls into that kind of cozy fantasy, kind of comedy fantasy type sphere. And it hits on all the all the spots. It hits everywhere you want as far as making fun of fantasy, but also beyond just making fun of it, appreciating it. So lots of great stuff in this story. Check it out if you get a chance. And here's the big one. I have started No Life Forsaken by Steven Erikson. And yeah, I'm already in chapter 3 now, and it's so good. It's like coming home again. This is the stuff that I live for, to read. I just love this world. I love Erikson's writing. This is it right here. So that's what I'm reading right now. Let's see. In the future, I will be reading Revelation Space by, I think it's Alistair Reynolds. That's going to be for Speculative Speculations. That's our next book. So that's fun. Yeah, I'm not sure what else I'll be reading this month. But I know I'll be reading that one. So that's coming up. And what else? My comic book of the month is Sacrifices number 16, the return of Sacrifices. The crew, the team that puts this book together, took a few months off, and they returned this month with a bang. And this is a great series. If you ever get a chance, great fantasy series. If you ever get a chance, check it out. It's a lot. It's a really cool concept, really cool story. This is one of Rick Remender's best. All right, so that's the comic book of the month. And yeah, I think that's everything. So check out all the reviews I did on some of those books on my channel, and check out all the channels that I mentioned. Check out the Short Fiction Side Hustle. And so with all that said, be good to each other, and thank you.
Never one for conversation. Give me silence or a song. Composing all emotion, 'cause assumptions can be wrong.